So there's been, I think this happened earlier in the week this week, and I thought it was kind of like, I don't know. I don't know how to take this, but basically, I think it was Rolling Stone. I'm pretty positive it was Rolling Stone. I don't really do a lot of my due diligence on which publication posts what because once one person posts it, every single outlet in the world posts it. But essentially, Rolling Stone posted I guess, a different view of the infamous DaBaby shooting in the Walmart store.
Wait,
And
Rolling Stone released it?
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, interesting. That's why I wanted to talk about it. So basically, for context, obviously, hopefully people know at this point, but DaBaby was, I sound like the feds. I feel like I feel like Vlad or TMZ, but we know DaBaby, in self defense, he shot someone in a Walmart store because they were, being aggressive. He was around his daughter and, other people that he cared about. So he, defended himself. And I believe there was footage that existed previously, but this footage that Rolling Stone just put out recently was a different angle. And them putting it out to me was like, let me not get to that part first. But in general, basically, I guess, and what the video showed, because we can't really show it on the screen because I don't think YouTube would allow that. But it did look like DaBaby might have initiated the conflict and then ended up shooting the person, which is the way it looked in the video. I'm not saying that's what happened, but that's just the way that it looked in the video. And that's why I think Rolling Stone put it out, because they wanted to have some sort of controversy or raise the conversation again. Like, was it really self-defense?
I'm just confused why the video never came out until now.
And that's why I wanted to talk about it, because I know, for those of you that don't know, the whole term conspiracy theory was actually, that phrase was coined by the U.S. government, because obviously we know the government does a lot of real weird, nasty shit. So they created the term conspiracy theory, so it allows things to be debunked immediately, where, oh, that's just a conspiracy. Oh, you're just crazy. That didn't happen that way. Just so everybody can stay in order. But
Yeah.
In this particular situation, like what you're saying, first of all, why is this years later that this footage is now suddenly resurfacing, right?
Yeah, because this could have been came out.
This could have been came out. This footage is new to the public, but this footage was viewed by the courts. This was viewed by the lawyers. This was reviewed by the judge. This was reviewed by the what do you call them? What are the people? The jurors.
Oh.
This was reviewed by everybody in the court case, and it was still decided back then that it was in self-defense. So first and foremost, this now being put out publicly is weird to me.
Something could have happened before the video, right?
Yeah, there was no additional context to the video, right? Like, it's like the way that the video was clipped.
Yeah.
It didn't show the full initial approach of these gentlemen. It just basically started with, because I don't think you watched it, but basically
I saw it.
You saw the one that just resurfaced?
Yeah. I don't. The one where like you could see them in the store.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I saw that.
Okay. So yeah, you saw he was in line, but they didn't really show like what happened before that or why they were approaching him or whatever. But it's just weird to me. Like, first, why is it coming out now? Two, why is Rolling Stone of all publications posting it? And three, is there an agenda to get DaBaby canceled and like really get out of here permanently?
I think it's the third one. I mean, Rolling Stone is involved in music. And I feel like it's always higher powers. And like you said, they try to say it's a conspiracy, but I believe that there's always people on top that like to control things. And I think a lot of people see probably in the top that DaBaby is not really it anymore. They probably see the online hate for him now. A lot of people don't like him anymore. Like think about when he first came out. Like, everybody's like, who's this new guy with this flow? Like, they liked him. And then like every other artist, there's a phase where they started like, they was clowning him like, all right, every song starting to sound the same. And then he came out with like that Pirates of the Caribbean type beat, and everybody was declining, And And then you have the violence, and the people like, all right, he's doing a lot now. Like, 'cause I think recently he actually just got arrested for something.
Beating up a property manager, I think.
Yeah, like yesterday. Like literally. So it's like, I think people are seeing now this pattern of violence, and you know, the things with Danny Lay, right? And her brother, and them fighting, and then Danny and DaBaby fighting. Stuff like that. So I think maybe the people at the top are seeing, all right, this man probably not going to be profitable much longer. We kind of could just get rid of him.
Now, my opinion on this is, I think, and I hate to do this because this is like, we're going to get canceled one of these days because I'll just be giving my opinion. But me personally, I think that the real shift happened when he did that. I don't know what festival or stage he was on, but when he did that gay AIDS thing.
I literally forgot about that.
So.
And that was a big shift. That was a huge shift.
Now, in my opinion, this is not an indictment on that community at all. But there are people that are in those positions in the music industry, or just really in any industry. It's not like they're like just limited to, you know, certain job roles, industries, whatever. So we know for a fact that there were definitely some executives that are either publicly or privately, you know, in one of those communities, one of the letters. So me personally, in my opinion, with this specific incident, I won't say that there's like some industry-wide plan to get DaBaby canceled, but with this specific instance, I really legitimately think that someone from that community was offended by what he said, and they're using their publication to try to get him out of here.
Yeah, because I literally forgot about that. I was listening to all the things, and I forgot that was the huge shift.
Yeah,
was that festival.
Because people could get through the whole your music sounds the same kind of thing.
Yeah, because that's every artist.
I hate that, yo. I swear to God, I hate that critique about people, because
like your sound is your sound.
It's like it's almost like the people that complain about who's somebody recently. Oh, they were talking about like Pusha T. All he raps about is coke and stuff like that. It was like if you make that critique about anybody, like, this person only speaks about love. This person only speaks about drugs. Most people's stuff. Yeah, like there's not a trillion different things that go on in our world. It's really pretty simple.
Yeah. So not every rapper is going to be an artist. Not every rapper is going to be Kanye. Like, Kanye is Kanye for a reason. You can't expect that out of everybody. You know?
Yeah, and I think he could have got through that whole "my music sounds the same," because clearly you saw him. You know, the opinion started to shift just off the remix on the on Jail with Kanye. People were like, oh,
but that was after.
And that was after.
Yeah, that was after the.
So I think he could have fought out of that whole "the music sounds the same" thing. Like, we even see that with Fabio, where he's still kind of doing the drill thing, or like even Pop Smoke, when he was doing the drill thing, but then he started also making different types of music. I think he could have got through that, but this is one thing I don't think that he's going to be able to get through.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion. I really do legitimately think, and this is, and again, I think
that community is just very protected for some reason, more protected than any other community. And they try to act like they're like a minority. They try to be we're a what's the word, something group,
oppressed,
like oppressed, and something else, like another word, like we're marginalized. It's like, because like I feel like there's like a thing, and like they was talking about this when there was like a conversation about like that community. Everybody wants to be oppressed now. Like Black people, we make everything cool. So we even make oppression cool. Everybody wants to be like, we're so oppressed. It's like a white gay man telling me you're oppressed, because like they use the fact that they're gay to be like, I'm oppressed. And like, I'm not saying they don't have hurdles, but I feel like there's this like dramatization that people like to just piggyback off of the civil rights movement and the Black Lives Matter movement. Like, Black people we're just so like inspirational and influential, and everybody just wants to be like us. So it's cool to be like, I'm oppressed. Like, it's just, I don't know. And for some reason that group is protected, I feel like, more than any other group.
Now, my opinion about why that is the case is because I think, like I said before, and this is, again, not an indictment on that community at all, because, you know, the second you're a Black heterosexual man and you make any sort of comment or criticism, they're going to kill you, say you're homophobic, whatever. Obviously, that's not the case. Like, well, maybe it's not obvious because people don't know me, but that there's no indictment. I really do not care. Like, honestly, in my opinion, I think it's really weird that there's like laws and hate and criticism and bashing of what another person does with their meat.
It's like, why do you care that much?
Like, it's so
Ask
crazy.
yourself, why do you care so much? Like, even when people try to use the religion thing, like, if you're saved, however you feel like in your religion, and why
you don't need to push that on anybody else.
Why is what anybody else doing? Like, worry about you and your family.
And not to get on the LGBTQ conversation, because I do want to go back to the original point, but with that, like the same thing with religion and that community, the only gripe that I would have is people trying to push it on you, right? Like, even when we were in Target and they have, what did they have?
Yeah, I think her Pride Month is June.
Right. Now, me personally, I don't think that that's Target trying to push it to people, right? Like, it's just representation. Like, like, here you go.
And Target at the end of the day is looking out for their own dollar. They like, all right, we inclusive. The owner of Target could be like, what's the word when you're like against homophobic? Yeah. the Target owner could be homophobic, but he's gonna get his bag and he's gonna make it look like they're inclusive. So you don't even know if that's real. That's just a business move. Or
they could be in that community.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. In my opinion, I think that like they hold positions of power, like they do. So I'm not surprised if there was some executive, some high level person like using their platform, because it is a big platform. Rolling Stone's been around forever. Let's get him out of here and teach him a lesson, I guess.
The funny thing is though, like with cancel culture, is a lot of stuff doesn't work though. But I feel like with DaBaby though, he just has too many issues. Because if he just had that one incident, he might have been all right. And yeah, like that's the powers that be do have, like, they're like a puppet master. But I do feel like if he was kind of not so crazy and killing people and fighting and just being ignorant in general or saying ignorant stuff, and on top of that, your music's kind of like, you just created like a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I feel like we should have clarified this. I think one of the unfortunate parts of like the growing pains of like having a podcast too is that if you're known and you give your opinion on something, and your belief is then widely like known, if that makes sense, right? But we're small, so anybody listening to this for the first time won't understand. We had this conversation previously.
We had it when it first happened.
Right. So I just want to reiterate, and hopefully people got to this point anyway to get to this part. But like, this is in no way saying that he's not wrong for the things that he does. Yeah. Or like that they just manufactured this cancellation for no reason or any of those sorts of things.
Yeah. It's just that when you mess up and they want to get you out of here, they'll do their best to seal the deal.
Yeah, because what was the purpose? For me, the biggest question is, what was the purpose of Rolling Stone putting this out? And there's only two options. There's only two options, right? There's one, they wanted to get him out of here, and the other part is two, they wanted more clicks. And I don't know which one is nastier.
It just makes me wonder, how long did they have that tape? How long were they holding it? I think that would be the real question. Because if they had it for a while, then they were waiting for the perfect time to strike. If they just got it, then they would probably, we got to get this out. But it's like, then who gave it to them now? It is weird.
Yeah,
the whole thing is weird. That shooting happened years ago.
Yeah, what was the? I want to know.
DaBaby hasn't really been in the news except for him beating up the people. Maybe that's it. They're like, okay, this is. Maybe they were waiting for him to mess up again, and maybe they had the tape right, and they were waiting for him to mess up again. And they're like, all right, this is the time to strike, because he's just got like arrested. He's being charged. So it's almost like, when they say like beating you when you're down.
But for what purpose? I know all like of that makes sense. It's like, which one is it? Is it the clicks? Is it the money?
Probably a little bit of both.
Or is it trying to get him out of here?
Probably a little bit of both. And like, if it's somebody who's behind the scene influencing it, then it's probably to get him out of here. If it's just Rolling Stone trying to make a bag, then it's just the clicks.
Yeah, I would assume it's to get him out of here, and the only reason why is because I just happen to know, our journalistic obligations. I know Rolling Stone is the one that put it out, but when that video went out, a million different platforms posted it. So you don't really, for anybody that's just coming across it on a timeline, they're not going to know who posted that video. So it's not like bringing Rolling Stone any notoriety or anything specifically, because they posted it first, but then once somebody else gets a hold of it and they post it on their platform and all these other people just start sharing it directly, then nobody knows who posted it first, and nobody cares. Like, nobody cares that Rolling Stone posted it. They just know that it's posted. Yeah. So that's why I think that, like, they didn't put their watermark on it. So that's why I think it probably really is just an agenda to get him out of here. Even if he's wrong, and even if he's done a ton of wrong things, it's still kind of weird.
It is weird. Because it's like, at the end of the day, you could penalize somebody when they're wrong and stuff like that. But the cancel culture thing for me is always just stupid. It's like, don't support him. If you are in that community and don't want to support him after that, just don't support him. You can't tell anybody else what to do and how to support.
Yeah.
Same thing, we can't tell you how to, what your sexuality should be. You can't tell somebody if they still want to be a fan of him to be a fan of him. If you don't want to be a fan, then you just don't be a fan. The whole cancel culture and trying to push this thing is always been weird to me, despite what they have done.
Yeah, and that's allegedly that somebody from that community did it.
Yeah,
because it could have been anybody.
Yeah.
So we just try to connect the dots and make sense of weird shit.
Yeah.